So, what are we doing today? Well, today, thank God, it's finally raining. It's been so humid here that I really just haven't even felt like really doing anything, no less, filming in addition to trying to get things done. So, for that, I apologize. So, what we're doing today is we're trying to trim up some used lumber that I bought. And I bought it when wood was crazy prices. And for a lot of the things I do around the farm, I don't need perfect wood. I just need wood that I can work with. And so I bought this wood. It was actually from a friend that went all the way down to Dallas, bought some crates, enclosed crates, pulled out all the nails, pulled apart the lumber, and I was more than happy. They actually sold their place to buy the lumber that they use to just have on hand. So there's a certain amount of work involved in that. So pretty much what I bought the lumber for was their labor. But, as with most used things, there's a few holes in it. And so what I'm doing right now is I'm just kind of sitting underneath my carport and I'm trimming off some of the nail holes because I'm building a deck for a wall tent. And I know how long they have to be basically, so I'm just kind of trimming it off, trying to look where the knots are and use the best part of the lumber. And then the cutoffs, I'm cutting off. The only thing that I can actually pre-measure, because everything I'm using is used, are the blocking. So these are the leftovers from the previous cuts that I made. So I know these are 16 inches, and that is the only thing I can automate here, because my floor joists are a little bit off because of the twist in the lumber. And so the other lumber that I used, I bought off of Craigslist, and it was mostly for fence posts that I was going to make into like Kentucky fencing. So I couldn't use my regular boat arc log posts. So these are squared off, and they have a twist to them, and there's two of them that I'm just going to have to plane a whole lot or kind of cut to make it kind of a flat surface so the decking will go on it flush. But I guess where you save money, you don't save time. But it's okay. I have the lumber. It's relatively free compared to new, and I'm okay with it. The end product will be actually quite nice because I will be taking my time to make things correct, but it will take time. So it seemed like while I was doing all of this, nothing was going right. I'd go down there on a really sweltering day. I had like 2 or 3 batteries because there's no electricity down there for my battery powered tools, and my batteries wouldn't work. And then the gator chain fell off. It seemed like no matter what I did, there was something about me that was not going to make this deck project easy. The lumber wasn't cooperating, the gator wasn't cooperating, the tools weren't cooperating, which brings me to the next thing, my miter saw, which really wasn't the problem with the miter saw. It's probably more of a problem with the electrical circuit with the generator that I lugged down there with the miter saw and the miter saw stand, and then it didn't work. And I went through a series of unplugging the electric cord, thinking maybe it was the resistance built in a long cord. That wasn't in. I would have sworn that I pushed the reset button on the generator. That didn't seem to work. So I went out and I bought a new miter saw. And so I just wanted to kind of show you that. I cannot believe the prices on things. I think when I bought my last miter saw, I bought the kind of stand for it. Here, let me give you I'll show you what the stand looks like. It's just one of the old generation DeWalt stands that matched my DeWalt miter saw. The minute I start talking, the geese start, so pardon them. And then the new saw that I bought, I couldn't believe how much this thing is retail. It's like something like $5.99. But it was the display model, and They don't normally sell display models, and it was on sale, and I negotiated the price. So it cost me, so here's the miter saw. It's probably not a very good image of it here. It's a Bosch, and what I liked about it mostly is I liked the way this new articulating arm is, because I had one that had the rods that would go back, so you would have the full depth of cut, but this one could go up against a wall. That's why it was in the carport, which I'm still using the carport, but that I'll store it in the garage now. So as I was saying, I didn't pay retail for it. I paid a fraction of what it was. I paid like $220 for this, which I think is a steal of a deal for basically the newer technology, minus the fact that it is not battery powered. The only thing I don't like about it is the hand grip on it. I have relatively large hands. I mean, like, we'll say like medium to large, but it's really wide across here, and the safety mechanism makes me cock my hand in a way that would fatigue it over time. So of course, I did a workaround, and the workaround is I stuck a piece of wood in there. So I bypassed the safety. I'm pretty sure the German engineers would not approve, but I had to bypass it. It's one of those American go-arounds that we're so fond of. And I know, just like a gun, when I pull the trigger, it will engage. So I don't need a safety. I don't need a safety on my guns, and I don't need a safety on my miter saw. So there you have it. So if you ladies, I heard that women buy a lot of power tools, and I would suggest that if you don't want to bypass the safety, don't buy this particular saw, because the hand grip is very large. I mean, maybe if you're like a 6'4" guy, it's perfect, but for a woman, I'm 5'8", and I'm not small, and I think if anybody were smaller than me, their hands would be proportionately less long, so it would be difficult to use. But aside from that, I really like the saw, and I was in a pinch. I needed something to work. So I just went out and bought new, and I got super duper lucky. It was on clearance. Last display model, which they normally don't sell because usually there's something missing, like the manual. But I'm pretty sure I don't need the manual for a miter saw, so I'm good. And for my workaround, I'm pretty sure that wasn't in the manual. So the one thing, YouTube is wonderful. You can look up anything, and I learned that with the Bosch product, anything that's red means adjustable. And that's one thing I didn't like about my DeWalt, is that in order to get the arm to release, I could never seem to find the chrome thing. It wasn't even chrome, it was just painted the color of everything else. I could never find it, even though I've used it several times. Every time I went back to use it, I had to remember which one to pull, because it doesn't look like something you would normally pull. But anyway, I like the fact that it's highlighted, you know, kind of idiot proof in red, so you know that that thing is adjustable and it does something. So anyway, enough about miter saws. So you might ask, why am I building a wall tent? Why am I doing that? Well, I wrote for a business grant with the Texas Women's University, and to my surprise, I won. And that's a great thing. And it was specifically for women veterans that are either expanding their business or doing a startup. And I thought that if I were to do a walled tent, not only could that integrate into the duck lease that I have, but it could also be placed on Hip Camp, which is similar to Airbnb. And you know, along those lines, if you ever want to visit the ranch, the Rockin' Barbie Ranch here in Cumbie, Texas, which is just northeast of Dallas, go on the Hip Camp site and reserve your spot overlooking the lake that I'm working on, the Catfish Lake, and it's in the woodlot, and you can stay a night. This is more of a glamping type of rental, so it's not overly cheap, but it'll be stocked with all the local consumables, beverages, everything, anything that's made in and around within so many miles of Sulphur Springs to promote Texas small businesses and agricultural small businesses. And so that's my, brainchild. And right now my brainchild is working into a lot of work child, a lot of muscle child. So that's what we're doing today. We're working on the deck, and that's what we're doing.